I'm in my blue phase at the moment. Here's something interesting. Donald Trump wants to make one thing very clear. Special counsel Robert Mueller's probe into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election isn't just a hoax or a witch hunt, but it's actually illegal. Quote, "The illegal Mueller witch hunt continues in search of a crime," Trump tweeted over the weekend. "There was never collusion with Russia except by the Clinton campaign. So the 17 angry Democrats are looking at anything they can find. Very unfair and bad for the country. Also, not allowed under the law." Now that tweet is far from an isolated incident. Back in August, Trump tweeted this. "This is an illegally brought rigged witch hunt run by people who are totally corrupt and or conflicted. It was started and paid for by crooked Hillary and the Democrats. Phony dossier, FISA disgrace, and so many lying and dishonest people already fired. 17 angry Dems? Stay tuned." Now, illegality is a big charge. So what evidence does Trump have to prove that big allegation? In short, what the hell is he talking about? The answer, as best as I can tell based on what little Trump has said publicly, goes a little like this. Former FBI Director James Comey was fired from his job by Trump in early May 2017. Later that month, Trump tweeted a threat at Comey suggesting that the fired FBI director had better hope there were no tapes of the conversations between the two men in the Oval Office. Comey, according to his memoir of his life and times with Trump, saw his chance. He asked a friend to leak a memo he had written to himself after a meeting with the president in February 2017, a meeting in which, according to Comey, the president asked him to lay off the investigation of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Now, worth noting, Donald Trump has repeatedly insisted he never said anything close to that to Comey. Now, the leaked memo produced a story in the New York Times. That story ran on May the 16th. That headline, "Comey memo says Trump asked him to end Flynn investigation." The next day, the Justice Department announced that it was appointing Mueller to lead a special counsel probe into the 2016 election, the role Russia played, and whether or not anyone in the Trump campaign colluded with the Russians. What's illegal there? Well, according to Trump, Comey authorized the leak of classified information in the memo that went to the Times. And that is a crime from Trump's viewpoint. So, a crime was committed by Comey, and that crime triggered the special counsel probe. See where we're going? It's all illegal. Except, well, almost certainly not. Trump's entire charge of illegality hangs on the fact that the February memo that Comey helped to leak in May contained classified information. But Comey has testified under oath that it didn't. Now, in testimony in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee in June, Comey made clear that he purposely wrote up the February 14th meeting, happy Valentine's Day by the way, without including classified information so that it could be discussed and shared in ways that a classified memo could not be. Explained Comey at the time.
You have to be very careful about how you handle it for good reason. So my thinking was if I write it in such a way that I don't include anything that would trigger a classification, that'll make it easier for us to discuss within the FBI and the government and to hold on to it in a way that makes it accessible to us.
Now, it's possible that this all began with a mix-up. We know Comey wrote 7 memos during his time as FBI director. They were documenting behaviors from or conversations with Trump that he deemed highly unusual, problematic, or a little bit of both. Of those 7 memos, 4 contained secret or classified information, which means that 3 did not. That's called math. According to Comey, the February memo that he authorized to be leaked was one of those 3 that didn't have any classified information in it. So there's that. Now, in order to believe that the leaked February memo contained classified information, you also have to believe Comey lied under oath, repeatedly. While the Comey leaking appears to be at the heart of Trump's charges that this whole special counsel probe is illegal, the president and his lead lawyer, a guy named Rudy Giuliani, have also suggested that Mueller has exceeded the bounds of his mandate from the Justice Department. The special counsel, they will tell you if you ask them, was formed solely to look at Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election and the possibility of collusion. So why then did Mueller's team prosecute Paul Manafort, the Trump campaign chairman, for crimes committed years prior to his time with Trump? Side note, Manafort cut a cooperation plea deal last week, perhaps the biggest development in the Mueller special probe to date. Why, they'll ask, was Michael Cohen, Trump's former personal lawyer, investigated if he had no formal role in the 2016 campaign? Double side note, Cohen pleaded guilty to 8 criminal counts just last month. Quote, once again, an investigation is concluded with a plea having nothing to do with President Trump or the Trump campaign, Giuliani said when the Manafort plea deal was announced. Again, though, this line of attack runs into a stubborn little thing we like to call facts. Go back to the May 17th press release from Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein that established Mueller as special counsel. It's only 1 page long. You can read it in under a minute. Now, if you or President Donald John Trump did read it, you'd find these lines that I'm going to quote directly. Quote, the special counsel is authorized to conduct the investigation confirmed by then FBI Director James B. Comey in testimony before the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence on March 20th, 2017, including 1. Any links and or coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the campaign of President Donald Trump, and 2. Any matters that arose or may arise directly from the investigation, and 3. Any other matters within the scope of 28 CFR 600.4a. Point 2 means that Mueller can investigate any sort of crimes he finds that come directly out of his investigation into Russian interference. Point 3, the one with all the abbreviations and numbers, refers to the Code of Federal Regulations that grants Mueller the power to pursue perjury or obstruction of justice that might arise from the investigation itself. Sidebar, several judges, including a Trump-appointed one last month, have dismissed attempts by Manafort and others to have charges thrown out under the pretense that Mueller exceeded his statutory authority. He didn't. There's just no way what Mueller is doing is illegal. And again, unless Comey lied under oath about whether the leaked memo contained classified information, there's zero truth to Trump's claim that the whole investigation is somehow illegal. And yet, the President of the United States keeps saying just that. Why? Because it's in his political interest to do so. He badly needs to prime his supporters for what is coming from Mueller, little of which seems likely to be good for this president or his inner circle. But just because Trump is saying the probe is illegal doesn't change the fact that it, well, isn't. And that is the point. We're doing this every week, so make sure you come back next week for our latest episode.